Hey everybody, it's Jeff here once again with T-Werx, our C-Werx program, and we are highlighting a nonprofit that I was not even aware of that existed that does amazing work up here in Williamson County. So I have the CEO, Rick Brown of Hope Alliance, who's with us today.
Yes, sir.
Always remember to write down below me, click on the subscription button, because if you don't, you're not going to know when these shows pop out. We do them every week, and we just show all these wonderful groups that are out there, and you don't want to miss any of these. So Rick, tell me a little bit about Hope Alliance. What all do you do?
Hope Alliance, actually it's called the Williamson County Crisis Center, doing business as Hope Alliance. And it started in 1984.
Okay.
It's been around that long, coming up on our 35th anniversary next year. And what it is a shelter and services for victims of domestic violence, sexual assault.
Okay.
And our services include counseling services on a face-to-face, one-on-one basis. We also provide counseling in group counseling sessions.
Okay.
We operate a 24/7 hotline so that if somebody is in trouble and they need help, they can call the hotline. We triage their call in terms of how dangerous of a situation they're in at that moment. And we ask a lot of questions that have to do with whether they're in imminent danger or not. We assess that because our telephone operators are trained to go through that process. And then if somebody scores high on that, what we call lethality test, they can gain access to the shelter quicker than anybody else can. The shelter is at an undisclosed location in Williamson County for safety reasons, and we just went through a $500,000 remodel of the shelter, which enabled us to go from 35 beds to 41 beds.
Okay.
And the difference between 41 and 35 is only 6, but it's a 17% increase in the services that we're going to be able to provide. Unfortunately, even with an increase in bed space, there's a waiting list, and the average wait to get into the shelter is around 28 days. And we've had some folks, unfortunately, that had to wait as long as 40 or 41 days before they could get into the shelter. The folks that we serve in the shelter, some of the demographics, 85% women and children, 15% men. The problem with a growing Round Rock community and Williamson County community is that the more population that moves into the area, unfortunately, the higher the incidence of domestic violence and sexual assault.
Okay.
We partner up with law enforcement communities throughout Williamson County.
Great.
To tell you the truth, I personally have only been on board for about a month, and I didn't know about Hope Alliance. But I found myself in a situation where I was looking for a new job and saw their postings and applied. And the great news for me as the new CEO is that the former CEO, Patty Connor, who has been with the organization for 18 years, is still there.
That's awesome.
The plan was for her to move over into a vice president of programs scenario, and then the board looked out into the community for somebody who had some nonprofit management and fundraising experience, so that Patty is still running the programs. And I'm learning about programs, but
you bring your experience in.
My marching orders are to increase the public awareness of the organization so that we could increase revenues, so that we could build a brand new shelter in the near future. And unfortunately, there is a need for more shelter space in Williamson County, and that's what we're going to be doing hopefully within the next 2 to 3 years.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Well, I mean, I think the more you do this type of stuff where you're getting the word out there, people just need to know. And by the nature, I think you have to be somewhat secretive.
Mm-hmm.
You absolutely have to be somewhat secretive with the place so people can't necessarily connect to it.
Right.
What are some of the challenges you all face in your world now?
Well, one of the things that I'm addressing immediately is working to increase public awareness about the fact that we exist, and thank you for inviting us and letting us do this show with you. So this will go a long way to help to that end. We're going to be looking at bringing on a staff person who's savvy in social media and marketing, and tying that in with more fundraising activities. Hope Alliance does 3 major fundraising activities during the course of a year, and a well-run nonprofit organization probably shouldn't be doing very many more than 2 or 3 a year, so we're right on target there. But there's a lot of room on the calendar to do some other public awareness types of activities. If they happen to raise money in the meantime, great, wonderful. But the main idea would be to increase awareness in the community over the fact that we exist. The number of calls that we receive during the course of a year, neighborhood of 2,500 calls, so more than 250 a month.
Wow.
And then from those calls, a number of folks going to the shelter, and quite a few more wind up getting face-to-face one-on counseling. All of the services that we provide to victims of domestic violence or sexual abuse are free.
Okay.
And our victims.
Now, are those services available? Let's say I can't get into the shelter. Are those services available though?
Yes.
Okay.
And so last year, specifically in 2017, we housed 339 individuals in the shelter during the course of the year. Those 339 individuals stayed in the shelter for an average of 20 days. The stay in the shelter, the length of stay in the shelter can go longer, it can be shorter, the average is 20 days. So between the 2,500 calls into the hotline, 1,100 face-to-face counseling services that we provide, and then the overnight stay in the shelter, we serve about 3,600 to 3,700 people a year.
Okay.
And unfortunately, that number is increasing, and that's the reason why we need to increase our contributions, our revenue base, and we need to increase the awareness in the community.
That's awesome. So what are some of the things, how can the public help you? What are some of the resources you need?
First of all, if anybody wants to help out as far as being a volunteer is concerned, they could call our main office number, 512-255-1212, and indicate that they'd like to help out. We have a volunteer coordinator that'll take that information, and we do some onboarding training. And if somebody wants to become really involved in what we do, I'm going through a training right now that everybody's required to go through if they want to become an official certified advocate. And it's about 40 hours of training, and we do that training once a quarter. So last night was the first session of a 40-hour session that'll go on over the next 2 to 3 weeks. And we had 14 folks that came to the training, and it's pretty intense, the training. But when you finish the training, there's a test involved, and if you pass the test, you become a certified advocate. And what that means is that the folks can have more hands-on, face-to-face exposure to our clients and advocate for them.
Yeah.
Part of the other services that we offer our clients include legal advocacy. So sometimes there's divorce proceedings, there's child protective services that sometimes get involved.
Do you guys partner with Texas Advocacy Project, or is that? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And our advocates, our legal advocates, will actually go and accompany our clients in court to support them and give them some, not legal advice because we're not lawyers, but help them through the process. We also have advocates that will accompany folks that need to go to the hospital because the violence was so bad that they need those kinds of services. And so it's a combination of hotline, face-to-face counseling, legal advocacy, hospital accompaniment, shelter work. It's kind of full service, and our clients don't have to pay anything to receive any of those services.
But you need help. You need hands.
So if a person calls the hotline and they're not in immediate danger and they do not need to get into shelter, but they need some help, well, they can sign up for our counseling sessions.
And you can get somebody to them at least for that part.
Right,
of it,
and
right
every client that we serve, if they need it, we will develop a safety plan for them so that they can make themselves less vulnerable in their current situation and move forward with a little bit of confidence that first of all, it's not their fault. Their situation is it's not their fault.
It's out of hand. It's not your fault.
That what we attempt to do is provide services that will let them know that there can be an end to this cycle that they're in, and we can help them get to that point, and thereby providing hope.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you for doing what you do.
Thank you.
Once again, how do they get in contact with you?
Just call our number. It's 512-255-1212. Our website is hopealliancetx.org.
Excellent.
Nonprofit, so it's .org. And we'd love to have folks get in contact with us and help us out in any aspect of the services that we provided. Some of the help, you'd have to go through training before you could have some more hands-on experience with our clients. But we're always looking for financial support in any way, shape, or form. We have a golf tournament and a dinner that is on the September 8th and September 9th of this year coming up. The tournament and the dinner are held at Cimarron Hills, up closer to Georgetown in Williamson County. And we're looking for, that's our biggest fundraiser, and we're looking for some support there. So,
awesome.
So inclined people want to golf and contribute money at the same time, we'd love to have them.
That's fantastic, and opportunities for businesses to sponsor.
Absolutely, sponsorships for that. And I have to, am I allowed to give credit to one of our corporate sponsors?
Why not?
Right here in Williamson County, we have Remax Realty, and they are an official corporate sponsor aside from the golf part of our business, and we're looking for some more corporate sponsors.
Okay.
Sponsorships are tied directly to providing the services and nights of shelter, nights of safety for our clients.
Okay, that's fantastic. Well, thank you for what you all do.
Thank you.
We really
Thanks
appreciate
for the invitation.
you. Folks, this awesome organization to support, and they're going to really need your support here, especially as Rick starts to raise money for expanding the shelter and expanding all the services that they provide. So go out there and look. Right below us on the show notes, there's actually going to be the website information that he gave and the phone number. If you have the capability to help out, please, however you can help, please do it. And I will see you guys here next week. Right down below me is the subscription button. Make sure you subscribe. So have a great week.
Thank you.